I'm Chris Howard, and in the last 90 days I've walked over 2,500 miles from the North Norfolk coast to now the North Cornwall coast. Pushing my mind and body every single day, walking up to a marathon or more. I'm not a celebrity, I'm not even incredibly fit, but I'm an ordinary human being, just like you. I'm getting the first ferry from Padstow to Rock. Okay, this is me starting the day at Rock, heading for the coast path now. The day starts out okay. It's wet and it's windy, but I'm fine with that. Today's path is notorious for having lots of ups and downs, incredibly steep ascents and descents. It's over 1,000 metres of elevation in one day. Just past Port Quinn. It's about 11 o'clock. My aim was to get to Port Isaac, which is 3 miles away, by midday. So it's still possible. It's soggy and muddy and horrible. Yeah, so I'm trying to stay positive. Focus on the objective, get to Tintagel or Trebarwith Strand. The path's a bit soggy and muddy, which feels sometimes like you're taking 2 steps forward, 1.5 steps back as you just slide. Okay, so I just came down those steps, and when you get to the bottom here, this is the runoff to there. It's tricky. It's so slippy and wet today, and the wind isn't great. It's dropped a bit here. If you don't arrest your momentum soon enough, there's every chance you just slide off these paths. I know. I can see Tintagel up in the distance, and I can see the bridge between the 2 headlands. But it doesn't look that far. The reality is, it probably isn't. It's going to be a hell of a tough walk. This coastline is just so rugged and wild by comparison to the south coast. It's a totally different game. It's crazy. Constant change in terrain from mud to rock, wet grass, sand, slate, streams, all that you can imagine. And the mud just slows you down because you're sliding all over the place. I've been warned by some locals about some escaped cows close to the cliff edge. They're a bit frisky, but these guys seem docile and fine. I don't know if you can really see now, but I'm going down there and up there, down there and up there and down and up. And it's just up and down all day today. I'm not complaining, I'm quite enjoying it so far. Doing alright, I'm pretty much on track. Had a little bit of a slip, but that's what it is. Wind has just started to turn slightly, so it's going the direction I don't really want it to go, but I'll get a bit of shelter here and then we'll see how we're going in a bit. I'm only carrying a litre of water, the same as every day. This is enough for me to stretch out over the full course of the day. I just hope today, where I end up, has some supplies, a tap, and anything else that I can imagine eating and drinking, because I know I'm going to be hungry and thirsty. This is such a steep hill. You see it? Oh, God. Not only am I now having to push myself on and dig a bit deep, I can now see the frisky cows I'd been told about just on the horizon at the top of the hill. The last thing I want is an angry confrontation with a massive cow this close to the cliff edge. I can see a calf just behind both of the two larger cows. Understandably, they're worried and trying to protect them both. I'm about 3 miles from my target. This is one tough day. I know I'm closing in on my target, but I just don't know how much more up and downs there are yet. I'm struggling, but I keep pushing myself, and I have to, just to make it to the target. Pushing on. It's like, I always tell people you've got to find that extra bit, you know. You might think you're done by the time you finish the race, and you've got to find that extra bit in the tank. You've got to keep pushing. And like when you're running a marathon and the wall only ever gets hit right close to the end, it never gets hit halfway through or at the beginning. It's up here. Just got to push. Get to the top, next bit, move on, come on, let's do it. That is Trebarwith Strand, that's where I'm going. I'm so glad to have made it here, you've got no idea. I'm not quite there yet, but this is good enough. We go. It's home for the night. Oh, I'm so glad to be under a roof and safe.